Build up to Black Friday with savings all month long at Lowe's. Get up to 50% off select major appliances, plus take an additional 10% off when you buy select major appliances. And don't wait to pick up holiday inflatables under $20. Don't wait to save, in-store or online now, because Lowe's knows deals. Valid 11/6 through 12/4. Cannot be combined with additional discounts. See Lowe's.com for details and qualifying items while supplies last.
In South Carolina, a serial killer who wanted to be a mafia hitman is given a life sentence after the death sentence he was sentenced to was overturned. In Florida, a man loses control of his mother's Porsche, killing his passenger in a fiery crash, and a man is arrested after 4 are raped while they were intoxicated. These stories and more are coming at you today, Thursday, August 1st on Real Life Real Crime Daily, and I'm Jim Chapman.
I'm Woody Overton.
Thursday.
August.
It is, man.
August 1st, bro. We're like 29 days away from LSU football.
I know. That's the exciting part.
And
Las Vegas, mind you.
Oh, yeah. So it's 60 days away from the opening bow season.
Yes.
Yep. And cooler weather's coming. And it's peanut time from Mississippi.
Is it really?
Oh, yeah. From the beginning of August through for like maybe a month and a half, 2 months. I go up there and get the big jumbos.
There you go.
Pull them up.
Shout out to George Washington Carver.
Right? Yeah. I'll be loving this and all day. You crawfish too hard this time of the year.
Yeah.
So I get the jumbo peanuts, and that's the one thing that freezes. They're probably better out of the freezer than they are fresh.
Well, I remember you brought me some boiled peanuts one time, and Wendy gave me like 2 of them.
Yeah, I'm going to bring y'all some.
He gave me like 4 bags, and they were gone,
last year, normally I do like 10 bags, and you get 20 gallon size, not 20, you get 12 gallon size bags of boiled peanuts off of each sack, 40 pound sacks. And last year, I went up there, thank God I did, in the beginning, like I'm about to do this weekend, and I got 2 sacks, and then the drought hit. Where the drought had been going, and I couldn't get any more.
Yeah,
drove like 4 hours round trip. I mean, I get them from the farm,
right?
But I'd love me some boiled peanuts.
Yeah,
I think it's a Southern thing.
Yeah, I think so.
But I make them hot.
Yeah.
I make them with garlic. I make them regularly salted.
Yeah,
any kind of which way you like it, Jim Chapman.
Well,
then boiled peanuts.
I do like the boiled peanuts, and so did Wendy.
Yes.
More than me.
Let me tell you real quick. The last year I was bowling by myself at the country place, and it's an all fucking day thing, right? I mean, hours and hours and hours. And so I had the burner going, and I had the pot, the water boiling. That's what takes the longest. And you got to boil them for so long and let them sit for so long, et cetera. Anyway, that jet burner's going.
Oh yeah,
and I can hear it inside the house, and my bar's out there. But I went inside. I was watching a ball game or something. And I noticed the sound was off. And so I look out the window. The fucking thing from the bottle had melted off and was on fire. That hose was spinning.
No way.
The propane bottle. I was like, holy fuck, bomb. And I ran over there, and I was like, I'm going to get some water and put it out. And I was like, that ain't shit. That ain't going to work. And I had to go over there and turn the fucking bottle off. Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. And that's the scariest part.
I got like fucking 8 of those burners. I buy them over the years.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I don't know. Maybe that was an old one or something, but yeah, that thing was like a snake, but it was like a fucking blowtorch. It was whipping around. I was like, pretty sure I'm about to die.
Son of a gun. That's crazy.
Some boiled peanuts.
Yeah. All for boiled peanuts. Yep. All right. Well, we're going to bring you to South Carolina. And we're going to tell you about a serial killer who was resentenced to life in prison 2 years after a federal appeals court overturned his death sentence in part because of his mental health. A judge in Lexington, Kentucky, ordered Quincy Allen to spend his life in prison without possibility of parole for fatally shooting Dale Hall in July of 2002 and Jedediah Har in August of 2002. Both shootings occurred in Richland County, South Carolina. Allen went on a shooting spree in that summer. He shot a man lying on a park bench on July 7th of 2002. That man survived, but Allen told police He shot the victim because he needed to get target practice. You like that. Right. 3 days later, he went on a break at his job at Texas Roadhouse and picked up Dale Hall. He drove her to an isolated street and shot her in the thigh, torso, and mouth. Afterwards, Allen poured gasoline on her body and set her on fire.
Try to get rid of the evidence.
Yeah, the court opinion said Allen made his way back to work and then continued serving the dinner crowd. Right. On August 8th of 2002, Allen got into a dispute with two sisters at the restaurant. He threatened to slap one of the women so hard that her baby would have a mark on it.
What?
That's what he said. The woman's boyfriend then showed up with Har. The men had a physical altercation, and Allen shot the boyfriend. The bullet, however, missed the boyfriend and struck Har in the head. He set the boyfriend's porch on fire hours later. Allen continued to set different cars on fire and point his gun at people. After shooting Hall and Har, Allen fled to New York. He stopped in North Carolina on his way back and killed two other people before he was apprehended in Texas on August 14th of 2005. He pleaded guilty to 2 counts of first-degree murder, 2 counts of armed robbery, and 1 count of larceny of an automobile in connection with the North Carolina murders. He was sentenced to life, but the court determined that there was convincing evidence that he was mentally ill. So he was indicted on September of 2002 for 2 counts of murder and a bunch of other charges. And Allen reportedly claimed he killed people because while he was incarcerated, an inmate told Allen he could get Allen a job as a mafia hitman. Wow. He pleaded guilty in February of 2005, and his attorney at the time explicitly and repeatedly asked the trial judge if he would return a life sentence if Allen pleaded guilty. Specialists brought in by the defense testified to Allen's sentencing phase that he had schizophrenia and rumination disorder. The specialist testified for the prosecution generally agreed that Allen had antisocial personality disorder, but did not find him schizophrenic. He was sentenced to death on March 18th of 2005. The judge who sentenced him said he did not see convincing evidence that Mr. Allen had major mental illness. Allen appealed, and basically on that appeal, they ended up overturning it. And so now he has life in prison. That's pretty crazy after killing that many people.
Always in the penalty phase, which, you know, you have the guilt part, which is a trial, and you have the penalty phase, where they determine whether or not to put you to death. Yeah. I always bring in those hired guns to say, oh, he's crazy, or he was slapped when he was a kid, and whatever. But I mean, if you're a server at the Texas Roadhouse, I mean, you can't be that fucking crazy,
right?
Holding down a job and everything else, but whatever.
And you know this obviously, but you know, a good way that detectives determine that and judges determine that, etc., is did someone attempt to hide the crime after it was committed? Because that means they knew it was wrong.
Like burning the body.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you this guy did, and he moved around and did it wherever, but that's on them. And guess what? He still got a death sentence. He's going to die in prison.
Yeah, that's right.
And, but that's fucking crazy. I don't get it. Probably did have some type of mental issues.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. But
I mean, he burned people up and then went back to work. Yeah.
Can I take your order?
Yeah. Can I take your order? I just shot a girl 3 times and killed her.
Crazy.
Well, you know, people are crazy all over the world, Jim. And I'm going to take you to Manchester City. And that's across the pond. And a man has been arrested in connection with 4 horrific rapes in a city center. Now, police believe the man had been targeting intoxicated men and women before raping them and stealing their personal belongings. Right? Officers have today arrested a suspect in his 40s following the 4 incidents in Manchester City Center. The man remains in custody to be questioned by detectives. All 4 victims are being supported by specialist officers. The First of the attacks happened in February, reports this from the Manchester Evening News. Now, the Detective Superintendent Richard Hunt, I guess this task force is called the Force Lead for Rape and Other Sexual Offenses, said, our specialist officers have been and are continuing to support those involved in these incidents, and we are doing all we can to provide the appropriate care that they need at this time. These are truly horrific crimes. No one should feel unsafe when walking the streets of Greater Manchester. We remain committed to achieving justice for all victims of rape, and we do not tolerate any form of sexual violence in our communities. And we urge anyone who has experienced sexual violence or abuse to please come forward and report it to us. Every report will be thoroughly investigated, and we will ensure that you and your loved ones are fully supported in every step of the way as we seek justice. And if you or someone you know has been a victim of rape or sexual assault, police encourage you not to suffer in silence and report it to officers by calling, and y'all in England, it's 101 or 999 in an emergency. Now, this comes as two depraved killers who filmed their rape of a drugged and defenseless young dad are facing life sentences for his murder. Dylan Brister and Cameron Allen spiked Callum Simpson's drinks, leaving him unconscious before subjecting him to sexual assault, which was recorded on a mobile phone. Mr. Simpson, 24, died from intoxication with the Class C drug Idilizam and alcohol following an attack on him at Brister's home. Mr. Simpson's third child was born 11 days later, right? Then they had the graphic footage from his phone shown to a jury during the trial and all that. But I don't know, rape, drug them, rape them, murder them sometimes. Fucking crazy.
Horrible.
I was in Alexander last week, and I was drinking a beer at a little Mexican place close to the hotel. And of course, and I normally do this. I went outside to use my get my phone charger or some shit, and it came back in, and the girl had put a napkin over my beer. Yeah, you stop somebody from doing it.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And normally I would have done it myself. I wasn't even thinking about it.
Yeah.
So y'all cover your shit up.
Yeah, and you don't think about that when you know, back in the day when we were going out and acting rowdy, people didn't really dump shit in your drink.
Right? No, that was before GHB. And all
yeah.
By the way, Swim might have walked around and seen drinks on the bar that were halfway done and slammed them. That weren't his because he couldn't afford to buy one. That could have been Spike.
Yeah. Well, you know what I used to do, they have a place called Texas Club here.
Yes, I did a live show.
It was in the Baton Rouge area. And when I was in my college years, they have these cups, and they're all different colors, and they're big plastic cups. Mm-hmm. And they're really good for college students, right?
To get hammered.
So when it would close, a lot of people would leave their cups on the tables, and I would walk out that sucker with about 12 Texas Club because that was new. That's new freaking and silverware, whatever.
Right, that was good.
New
shit
China,
then, right? I remember those. And when I did the crew bash there, about 3 or 4 years ago, they still had the same big ass cups. Everybody was walking around, and
those are classics.
We used to get the Long Island iced teas and those big cups. You'd be hammered.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Very good. Well, we're going to bring you to Florida. And I'm going to tell you about a 21-year-old man in Florida who was arrested just this week for killing his 20-year-old friend after taking his mom's new Porsche Boxster for a drive and trying to test the vehicle's speed limits. Yeah. It resulted in a fiery car wreck more than a year ago, and Zachary Crush was taken into custody on Monday and charged with 1 count of negligent vehicular homicide. So according to the probable cause affidavit, the Florida Highway Patrol at about 10:42 p.m. on May 16th of 2023 notified the Seminole County Sheriff's Office of a single vehicle crash that resulted in the death of a 20-year-old male. Investigators said that Crush was traveling westbound when he lost control of the Porsche and slammed into a tree before becoming fully engulfed into flames. The passenger, later identified as Dylan Astasso, was pronounced dead at the scene by paramedics. A subsequent autopsy performed by the medical examiner determined that his cause of death was blunt force impact of the head, torso, and extremities. Medical records further indicated that he was ejected from the vehicle and trapped under the car, which later caught fire. Based on the evidence at the scene and Crush's alleged statements to the authorities, investigators determined that he was operating the sports car in a willful and reckless manner, which led to that fatal crash. I was driving my mom's new car. My friend wanted to see how fast it could go, Crush told the 911 emergency operator. So I started it down the road and we lost control, and it went into a ditch and flipped, went over the fence, and my friend is stuck and he's still not breathing. I think I just killed him. When a deputy asked Crush if he was in the car with the victim, he responded, "Yes, I was. It was my fault." Authorities said that Crush was distraught throughout his interactions with investigators and was filmed on body camera footage spontaneously making statements such as, "I'm so sorry, I'm the reason he's fucking dead." When authorities said that Crush did not appear to be impaired, they noted he was not familiar with the sports car and he had to be driving a speed well above the 30-mile-per-hour limit. A high-performance sports car does not respond to driver input such as steering, braking, and accelerating in the same manner as an average two-door vehicle will respond, investigators wrote. A driver who is inexperienced with the operation of sports cars should operate the vehicle with caution. He was processed and released after posting a bond of $15,000. He made his first appearance on Tuesday and is currently scheduled to appear for his arraignment on August 27th. He has not yet entered a plea.
Yeah, it's
a 21-year-old in a Porsche, man. Woo.
Hey, y'all, let me tell you about Gobble. All Gobble meal kits are pre-prepped. That means less work for you and less waste in your kitchen. Their meal kits include everything you need so you can save time at the store or just skip that trip entirely. I got the box in and I had 3 different meals. I had a Kung Pao chicken, crispy fish tacos, and a beef bourguignon, however you say it. But let me tell you about the classic beef bourguignon. Look, it came with beef pot roast and a beef broth concentrate, red wine demi-glace, cremini mushrooms, cipollone onions, mashed potatoes, baby carrots, and rosemary thyme butter. It was so easy to make. Literally like 15 minutes it took Cindy. And let me tell you something, and all the dishes were fire, but this thing was like a taste explosion in my mouth. It's just unreal. We've got to spend more time together and more time doing the things we love because everything came in this one single box right to my door. So see what a difference Gobble will make for your household. Right now, they're offering my listeners a fantastic limited time deal. You get $120 off across 4 boxes plus free shipping and free cookies. And let me tell you, those cookies, I ate one that was sin baked and it was delicious. Go to gobble.com/reallife. That's GOBBLE.com/real-life for $120 off your first 4 boxes. This offer is not available on the home site, so don't miss out. This is genius. It's taste explosions in your mouth like you never had. Hey ladies, are you feeling overwhelmed by hormonal changes? Well, you're definitely not alone. There are more than 1,000 hormone disruptors living in our environment right now. It's in your food, your water, the air you breathe, the clothes you wear, your skincare products. They all mess with your hormones. Then there's the natural hormone changes your body goes through, premenopause, menopause. And while it's a natural process, it doesn't mean you have to suffer through it. The good news is you don't have to suffer through it anymore because now you have Hormone Harmony, a formula made only with herbal ingredients that are shown to reduce hormonal symptoms in women of all ages. Hormone Harmony is not just a hormone support and supplement. It's become a phenomenon. Women can't stop talking about it on social media.
A bottle of Hormone Harmony is sold every 24 seconds. And the biggest benefit? Well, my wife says it makes her feel like her own self again. And that's what women mention over and over in the reviews. And there are over 30,000 reviews for Hormone Harmony. And for a limited time, you can get 15% off your entire first order at happymammoth.com. Just use code RLRC at checkout. That's happymammoth.com and use code RLRC for 15% off today. That's happymammoth.com and use code RLRC.
You got to be real mature.
People, I'm sure I drove stupidly when I
100%
was young and stuff like that. But I'll tell you, if you're just not trained, and in all my years, look, we had high-speed driving courses. The Louisiana State Police at Just Tech, the training center, the track is like a half a mile around, and you literally go out there and do pursuits. And they have the spray bars that put water on the track, and you just simulate all different kinds of things. And the old Crown Vics would only do 128. That would max out at that. But the swim. His parents went to like Europe or somewhere on a cruise for a month.
Oh, Lord.
And he took her to the airport in New Orleans. And on the back road, it's this long, straight road to the country place. Swim's dad had the first 4-door white Porsche with brown leather interior in the United States of America.
Wow.
And Swim did 187 miles an hour.
Dang.
As fast as Swim's ever been.
Lucky Swim's alive.
It was straight away. He knew what he was doing, but I pushed him and got to 187. Swim said, "Fuck that. That's too much." And when you do 187,
it's like a race car, dude.
You slow down to 100. It seems like you're going 2 miles an hour.
Yeah,
it's just too fucking fast.
Yeah,
and I think the fastest before that I'd ever been, or Swim had ever been, was in a unmarked Ford F-250 with a turbo chip in it, and it did like 147.
Dang.
Yeah. With long straightaways, not smart, obviously, but.
Yeah. Well, I had back in those days, I had a Vet, a Chevette. That's what I had, a 78 Chevette. And if I could get that up to 30, I was doing good.
With a good tailwind, right?
Got me point A to point B. I know that much.
That's right. And, well, all right. I am staying across the pond today because this just happened. Breaking news, y'all, recording this early, so maybe you've heard about it by now. And, you don't need guns to kill people. This just happened at 9:53 a.m. At least 8 people, some of them children, were injured in stabbings in northwest England on Monday, emergency services said. Police say they detained a man and seized a knife. Prime Minister Keir Starmer called the attack horrendous and deeply shocking. Merseyside police said officers were called at about noon to an address to Southport, a seaside town near Liverpool. Of course, y'all, noon their time is different from what I'm reading you now.
Yeah.
But anyway, they were called to the home in Southport, which is a seaside town near Liverpool. It noted a major incident, but said there was no wider threat to the public. It asked people to avoid the area. The Northwest Ambulance Service said medics treated 8 people with stab injuries. The injured were taken to local hospitals, including the Children's Hospital. The BBC and other media reported that the attack happened at a community center where a Taylor Swift-themed dance and yoga event for primary school-aged children was scheduled. Barra Varathan, who owns a shop down the street, said he saw between 7 and 10 bleeding children running from the building. They had been stabbed here, everywhere, he said, indicating the neck, the back, the chest. They were all aged around 10. One of them was seriously injured. Now, Colin Perry, who owns an auto repair shop near the site of the attack, said the attack was like something from America. not sunny Southport, right? That just
So that's supposed to mean.
I don't know, but I hope all those kids live. It's going on right now. They got it. I'm looking at the picture. They got it all taped off.
Oh wow!
And hopefully those babies live. Well, who the fuck goes in and just? It's gonna be some terrorist bullshit. I mean,
it's gotta
go
be.
In there. It's Taylor Swift yoga party, whatever that is.
Yeah,
and they went in there to kill kids. Fuck him.
Disappointing. No respect for life.
No words, bro.
All right, I'm gonna lighten it up a little bit.
All right.
And I'm sure back in your day you arrested a lot of people under the influence of alcohol or drugs and sometimes you probably had some comical confrontations with them.
Many times.
Well, I'm going to tell you about one, and it's pretty comical in Florida. And essentially, an officer on foot patrol, he gets a call, and they say, hey, there's a guy sleeping inside an apartment complex stairwell, and people are complaining. Can you go run him off, basically? This was in Vero Beach, y'all. So he says, sure, I'm right by it. He walks over there and he finds that suspect standing inside that common room. It's about 3:00 in the morning. And his name was Gregory Gornell. He was 44 and he was fully nude. And so, this police officer calls for a little, he says, I might need a little backup. Right. This new guy, I don't want to touch him.
He probably was also calling so his buddies get to see the shit show that was about to happen.
Yeah. So he does. He calls for backup, and a few more police get there, and they say, what are you doing, Gregory Gornell, sitting here nude at 3 a.m.? Right. And Gregory Gornell responds that he was staying at the facility because he was the emperor's helper. Really? And they said, that's what they said. Really? And Gornell tells the officer that the building, which is an independent living community for residents over the age of 62, was under new management and that the emperor told him that he could stay there. Mm-hmm. So Gornell, who had previously been trespassed from that same building, he gets asked from the police, well, how do you get in touch with the emperor so we can see if you got permission to stay here?
Right.
And so Gregory Gornell looks at him, fully nude, and he says, there's a royal outreach that could be done by using the electrical lines. And so when it was all said and done, they charged Mr. Gornell with trespassing yet again, and he pleaded no contest. And they took him, obviously they took him to jail before that, but his occupation is listed as a construction worker. And he has had some previous convictions for cocaine possession, theft, marijuana, and possession of drug paraphernalia. It would be I submit to you, he was probably under a little of the coca when he was in that stairwell. Yeah.
Come on, man.
Fully nude.
Yes,
because the emperor told him to do it.
So many stories, bro, and people like that, show up and dudes like, can't you see him? Can't you see him? I'm like, see, dude, all of them running around my yard when they got on rainbow colored glasses.
There you go.
Yeah, motherfucker, how much meth have you done?
Yeah,
right at 6:00 in the morning when I was getting off shift, and then naturally had to do whatever. But yeah, I mean. Yeah, it's the greatest show on earth for a reason. That's what I always said it, and you get to see shit like that. We had a code back in the day, but if I call something in, if I say like B or A or B or C or D, like a B meant everybody needs to come see this crazy shit, right? Or it's a super hot naked woman or whatever it may be. Right. Everybody needs to come see it. And look, if they would come from the other side of the parish from 30 minutes away, hold them up. I mean, we're coming. But sometimes it was, dead bodies or bad wrecks or whatever.
Well, you told one about on Real Life Real Crime about a woman in a trailer that liked to hang out in the nude.
Oh yeah, that was one of the first fucking arrests I had made. I had to flood.
But she wasn't hot.
I know. No, 99.9999% were not. Not that it mattered. But it is. I had to fight naked women before.
What?
Yeah, absolutely. To make I mean, you get out there naked, you got to fucking arrest them.
Yeah. And they ain't wanting to go to jail.
No, and then you get all kinds of accusations. But anyway, we'll leave it alone. So, you like to go to the mall?
I mean, no, not really. Not anymore.
I hate to go
back in the day.
Yeah, back in when we had old Cortana and old Beaumarchais, where Cop Charles was.
Yeah.
And, but other than that, and when I had the security for those jewelry stores all over the United States, I fucking hate them all. You just couldn't pay me to go to that motherfucker. I'd rather go to Walmart than a mall.
Right.
And nowadays they're not safe. And I mean, people just, because, all the gunplay and everything else. Well, let me tell you what happened yesterday in Maryland, in Columbia, Maryland. One person was killed in a shooting inside a shopping mall in a suburb of Baltimore and Washington on Saturday, police said. Authorities received a call after gunfire in the food court area of the mall in Columbia, Maryland at about 6:10 p.m. Officers found Angela Little, 17, of Columbia, dead from a gunshot wound. Police determined the suspect left the mall following the shooting, and detectives believe the victim was targeted. So evidently they had a beef before or whatever. And the authorities say the investigation is ongoing. Officers worked to evacuate people in an orderly fashion, and the mall was fully cleared by 9 p.m. Saturday, police said. I'll tell you, boy, nothing clears a room like a little gunfire. And I'm going back to the Trump rally again. I don't give a fuck if it's Trump or Biden or Harris, whoever you support. That I'm really surprised. There were at least 8 shots that dude shot, and then plus the one that killed him. I'm surprised these people just didn't trample, right? But anyway, this mall was also the scene of a shooting in January of 2014 when 3 people died after a man with a shotgun killed 2 people and then himself. There's your mall life.
Yeah.
Same
and then
fucking mall.
Well, and we're covering a lot of stories lately where these people are killing themselves after they do it.
Yeah.
And, why take someone else if you're going to kill yourself?
Yeah. I see.
Anyway.
That's why I don't ever say, I don't like to say those people's names, because I do believe that, and that we never used to report any suicides to the news. And now if it was a murder suicide, of course you had to report it. But you don't see on the news every day about suicides. They won't report it, and you don't report it to them.
Right.
Now, if it's a murder suicide, you got to do it. But people, I firmly believe the reason is because there's other people who are thinking about committing suicide, and if they see it on the news, they're like, "Oh, I can just go ahead and do it." Look, if you're thinking about it, y'all, call somebody. Don't do it.
Right.
That's a permanent
solution to a temporary problem.
Yeah, right. And call someone, talk to someone, whatever you're going through. Don't kill yourself, man. I've worked hundreds of them. Yeah. And not a one of them that didn't suck.
Yeah. And they just destroy families.
Yeah. Oh my God. You have to tell somebody's parents or their kids or whatever that their loved one killed themselves. First thing, that they don't believe it.
No.
And then, it must have been a homicide or whatever, but I don't know. Don't do it. Y'all call somebody.
Yeah.
Spark something uncommon this holiday with just the right gift from Uncommon Goods. The busy holiday season is here, and Uncommon Goods makes it less stressful with incredible hand-picked gifts for everyone on your list, all in one spot. Gifts to spark joy, wonder, delight, and that's exactly what I wanted feeling. Hey, y'all, I ordered a super cool piece. It's a candle with a sculpture of LSU's Tiger Stadium on top of it. And each officially licensed laser cut wooden replica features up to 4 layers of detail, creating a bird's eye view of a specific football field, seating section, and more. And every label includes your stadium's name, the team's logo, and school location. And it has a coconut, soy, vegan wax infused with sandalwood smell that creates tailgates and touchdown scent profile, reminiscent of game day. It's invigorating like fresh cut grass and nostalgic like smoke from a pre-game grill, and calming like the crisp autumn air of a new semester on campus. Y'all, I love it. I have it at the base of my TV, and I'm ready to watch the Tigers play on Saturday night, right? Uncommon Goods. Look, when you shop at Uncommon Goods, you're supporting artists and small independent businesses. And many of their handcrafted products are made in small batches. So shop now before they sell out this holiday season. Uncommon Goods looks for products that are high quality, unique, and often handmade or made in the U.S. They have the most meaningful, out of the ordinary gifts anywhere. They even have gifts you can personalize. From holiday hosts and hostess gift to the coolest finds for kids, to hits for everyone from the book lovers to diehard sports fans. Uncommon Goods has something for everyone, not the same old selections you can just find anywhere. And with every purchase you make at Uncommon Goods, they give $1 to a nonprofit partner of your choice. They've donated more than $3 million to date. So to get 15% off your next gift, go to uncommongoods.com/RLRC. That's uncommongoods.com/RLRC for 15% off. Don't miss out on this limited time offer. Uncommon Goods, we're all out of the ordinary.
Well, we got, I don't like to report on these, but 14-year-old boy in Napoleonville, Louisiana. Down south.
Cajun country.
Has been arrested and charged with rape after an investigation. The Assumption Parish Sheriff's Office reports that deputies were notified of a complaint regarding the alleged rape of a child multiple times. The offenses were committed at a home. According to the sheriff's office, and detectives said an investigation was started and they were able to identify the suspect as a 14-year-old boy. After the investigation, detectives filed a verified complaint against the 14-year-old, accusing him of first-degree rape. The 14-year-old suspect was arrested in St. Bernard by the St. Bernard Parish Sheriff's Office. This was on July 18th, and the suspect was transferred to the Assumption Parish Sheriff's Office and is being held at a juvenile correctional facility. And they didn't go into, how young this victim was.
Well, I can tell you it had to be 13 or younger.
That's what I'm thinking.
First-degree rape used to be aggravated rape for us, and it was 12 years old. And they raised the age to 13 or under, and they changed it to first-degree rape.
Yeah.
I don't know why they changed, but they did. And I don't know. That's horrible. I worked a bunch of those too, and they all sucked. Every one of them bad.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you can't, what do you do on something like that?
It's about the worst crime I can think of, outside of murder.
Yep. Well, I think
lowest of the low.
Maybe in some way it's worse than some of the murders because you're murdering this baby's life. You're raping a young kid. Well, let's go to Vermont. A Vermont man accused of killing an 82-year-old neighbor in Ennisburg pleaded not guilty to aggravated murder of the woman who went missing earlier in the month. I don't know how we didn't cover this one, Jim. Darren Martell, 23, appeared in court on Friday after he was charged at the Northwest State Correctional Facility in St. Albans, where he was already jailed on an unrelated charge. So they came and added more shit to him, right? Maybe they got his DNA. He's charged in the death of Roberta Martin, who was reported missing after her daughter asked neighbors to check on her. And, well, obviously she wasn't there, right? And a search was launched after Vermont State Police found signs of a break-in, but her remains were found on July the 21st. Now, Franklin County State Attorney Bram Cranitchfield called it a terrible tragedy for our community. Martell of St. Albans was living with residents in a home next door to Martin's home in Ennisburg, police say, and he's been arrested for lewd and lascivious misconduct on the unrelated charge and was already jailed when they charged him in Martin's death. And he's still locked up in jail, and it's unclear if he has a lawyer And I don't know if Vermont has the death penalty or not, but he killed an 82-year-old.
Oh, my
82-year-old female, and he's 23.
Yeah.
What the fuck? So in Louisiana, I think it used to be over 80, maybe it was 80 years old or 82. So the aggravated rape, now first degree rape, it was my time, it was 12 and under or over. I think it was 80 or over or something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe, you raped them, whatever.
They don't like rapists even in jail.
No. Well, I mean, they don't like people that kill old people either. Or young kids.
Right.
So it kind of fits in the same, almost like the statues.
Yeah.
The prisoners, got the prisoner code.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just did a video Patreon thing actually this morning when I recorded 30 minutes and talked about some of the past people I put up, and like David Pender, that monsters that killed the Nooney, the 82-year-old, and they made it look like a rape and all that. And anyway, I gave an update on what I know of these different ones in prison, but convicts don't like people that do that.
No.
Murder and rape an old lady or a young kid, convict justice.
Convict justice, and they'll take care of it quick.
Yep.
End up like Jeffrey Dahmer.
Right? They give it the mob handle, right?
Yeah, that's right. Any final thoughts?
No, we just love and appreciate each and every one of y'all. Thank you for liking and listening and sharing and all that good podcast shit. And just appreciate it.
Yeah. Check out everything else we do. Real life, real crime.
Bloody Angola.
Got a little exposed on there.
Yeah, exposed. What else? You got some other stuff coming.
Well, local leaders.
Oh, yeah. Local
If you're into that local business stuff, you can check that out.
We got so many podcasts, y'all won't be able to stand them. You like listening, go listen. And if you're so inclined, leave us a review and tell somebody else about it.
Yeah, please do. We appreciate that.
One of y'all.
Thank you very much. And until next time, I'm Jim Chapman.
I'm Woody Everton.
Your host of Real Life, Real Crime Daily. Peace.